Hello, my name is Cynthia James and I'm owner artist of Artefactz, and I want to welcome you once again to last Saturday Gallery Night. And this particular Saturday Gallery Night is our 2nd anniversary, and I'm so excited about it. And I've made a lot of beautiful work, so even though you may be watching this after the fact, please come in, because I have just worked and worked and worked, and pretty soon all of my small jewelry will then turn into very large sculptural work, and it won't be 105 in the shade, because my outdoor studio is literally outdoors. So right now I am going to sit down and begin a beginner's glass class. And one of the first things that I want you to know is safety, safety, safety. And when you're working in glass, there's lots of tiny little shards. So though I may look really cute right now, we're now going to put on our tools. And one of them is part of a work outfit. The other thing is very, very important is your eyes. And sometimes I'm a little sloppy about that, and then a little piece of glass will ping and hit my cheek, and then I tell myself, your eyes are your lifeblood, so you better put on your goggles, so I highly recommend that. I also want to show you that I do cut myself, and it's just part of it, so make sure when you do to clean it off, put a Band-Aid on, and then get right back to work. So now I'm going to go to the next stage. As a beginning glass artist, one of the very initial things that I have was, where in the world do I start? And some of the time, where I'm going to start is driven by commission work. And in order to get to the commission work, I really need to play a little bit. So when I play, I always end up at the end of the day putting all of my scrap glass into just one type of tray. And then I come back and I start finding pieces that I happen to like, that are shapes that I happen to like. So first you need to know yourself as an artist. And one of the shapes that I happen to like, that I've always either traveled to or been fortunate enough to live by, are mountains. And I also have a father that was a sailor, was a submariner, but he did have a sailboat, and I happen to love sailboats. And I love that shape, and I love the water. So the three of those shapes seem to play a recurring theme in my life. So a lot of times that's exactly how I'll start. Now I also, when I firework, and in a moment we're going to zoom in on this, but when I firework, so this is a tray of fired work, I will actually look at those pieces and cull them. And what I mean by culling them is I will take a piece that I've decided that looked nice, but it needs just a bit more. And so those two methods are a way for me to get started without having to sit here for an hour worrying about, am I going to create the most fabulous piece right away? So my main thing is first you've got to play before you get down to the serious work. So, and in this case, because we only have a limited amount of time, I've got one piece that is one of the culled. I liked it when I first fired it the first time, but I see that it needs something to pull it together. And because I fire a lot of these pieces at several different temperatures, I have the ability to put them back in the kiln. And I think a lot of times people don't realize that you can fire and refire, and in some cases, you can fire as many times as you want. Eventually, you totally lose your shape. And in this particular case on this piece, prior to when I started to set up, I decided I really liked this piece. So it's just a long, thin piece, and then I'm going to take a little bit, and I happen to use school glue, and I use denatured alcohol. You can use soap and water, but I found over the years that I happen to like denatured alcohol. They also use all different types of glues, but I found that the blue school glue has a nice sticky quality, and some of the time, some of them that are made for the glass are too vitreous. They just make everything slide, and I want it to be a little bit sticky. So earlier, I have a commission piece, because as I said, I'm playing as well as I have a woman that wants a pink piece. And Miss Carol will be tickled that I'm going to actually be making this piece on television for her. But she wants pink, and I happen to have pink in this tray. And here is my sailboat image that I happen to have liked, and I found a couple of pieces in there. And on the glass, you can use a Sharpie. So here I am actually marking the glass. And there are a variety of cutters. I happen to like the pistol grip, but really any of them are good. The first one that I happened to use was a garage sale cutter. And I highly suggest that you go to Merry-Go-Round Stained Glass Company in Fort Worth, and they will be happy to help you with the right cutter. But in the end, this is one that I bought probably from them. They are absolutely wonderful people. So please Google them and go to their shop in Fort Worth. So I'm actually following relatively closely to my Sharpie lines. And you need to clean, 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 and clean. No one realizes exactly how oily one's fingers are, and the prints will show up, and they will always show up on the most fabulous piece that you don't want a thumbprint on. So in this case, there's my basic shape, and here it is. So I'm going to set that right there. And again, because I'm going to be moving this tray, some of the time I use glue and sometimes I don't, but I am in this area where this could get bumped and I don't really want to do this over again. And I use very, very little, just enough to slightly tack it. Then I'm going to set that there and that there. And as I earlier said, I have a piece that's just very, very simple, but it needs just a little bit more to make it a little bit more interesting. And over here, I also have very tiny pieces. And I found one I think will work just perfect, that because I happen to like certain shapes, then, and obviously I think I need some more glue in the bottle. And since I've already thought some of this out, and then I think that will be perfect. One of the other aspects, because I am a working artist, my jewelry is sold, and I found that everyone likes different pieces of jewelry. So I may need to make very small pieces, and I may need to make more pieces that are very substantial, that look absolutely gorgeous, say when you walk into a place that you just want to look absolutely beautiful for. Again, I'm going to go to the tray where I finished them, and I recognized that this piece, again, it needs just something a little bit more to make it just the right look. And I had determined earlier that I thought this one would look nice. And since the glue is taking a little long, I'm just going to set this on top right now. Okay, here is my basic shape. And again, as I was saying earlier, you need to find your shape that you're interested in. If you're wanting to do circles and curves, you can certainly cut a curve with these tools in glass, but to do a literal circle, you actually have to have specialty tools. So in working with how I'm working right now, you basically can do very straight cuts. And if I'm going to do true squares, then that will be a lesson for another day. And in this case, I happen to love the colors in this glass. It's going to be absolutely phenomenal. And I want to layer it with some more dichroic glass, and hopefully you can see how it's flashing. I don't know whether that's going to come across on the film. And I actually can see the stripes in the glass, and I have an option of doing dichroic up or the glass up if I want. And in this case, I want this to melt a little bit more, and so I'm going to overcut it by about 1/32. And again, I am going to be marking this with my Sharpie. And again, I just like rough cuts, and I've been working on this for about 10 years, so I have a really good control of my tool. So the other thing I want to show you is you really need to keep this straight, and it doesn't have to be a hard cut. It's just smooth, and you don't want to bump over the end. And then this is a grossing plier that I use to do that. Some of the time I just break it up against myself as well. And I think I want a little bit more of a curve there. And if you saw, I kind of dipped over, and that will actually leave a little divot, and there will be no color on that glass. However, I cut it just off the center, so it's going to be fine for what I'm wanting it for. And there again, I'm using the grossing pliers, and you can see I have a little overhang here, and I can actually come back and use the same tool to clean that up. And I see there's another little edge, and sometimes I leave those edges depending on what kind of look I want. And then I know that this glass is going to go over this and melt just enough to cover it. And I want it to go that direction and that direction. And then I want to have a little bit more levels, so I am going to do a little bit more additions to it. And then I think over here earlier, one of the times I am wanting this to be a tool, but they actually make real long pieces and they wiggle them. So I'm actually going to add that to the top of there, and in just a little while I will glue that. So I hope you enjoyed this demonstration. I hope to see you next gallery night, and if not, please go on to YouTube, go on to the Granbury TV station, or please definitely come into Artefactz. We'd love to see you, and if you're a beginner in glass, you need to watch the next show. Thanks. Talk to you later.
Hi everybody, I'm Bibi French with Bibi's Memory Bears, and we're located here in Artefactz in Granbury on the square. We have tonight, I want to introduce you to some teddy bear artists that we have. Granbury is a small town, but we have about 7 teddy bear artists that have been making bears for many years here. And we have Peggy Lozier, and she's been making bears for about 26 years. We have Jan Helton, she's been making about 20. And then we have Donna and myself, and we started in 2002 making bears together. And what I want to do is just show you kind of some of the bears that have been made. These are all like for Donna's, and this one, Julie's not here tonight, but Julie Pitts, these are her bears, and these are Jan Helton's, and you can notice on this that Jan makes little bitty tiny bears in addition to the bigger bears that she has here. And then we have Peggy's bears, which are just, they're all just adorable, and we just love every one of them. But there's this little guy, look at his little pants, he's so cute. And this one, and then the latest one she's done is this one with kind of a little guy, I guess, yodeling in the mountains. And we have this one. This is one of Donna's, and this has got like its little cowboy hat, and she knitted the little scarf that it has. And these are some others. These are all made out of mohair, so that you know what they are. We also, these are 2 of my bears. I do make bears like they do, but mostly what I do are memory bears. So this is one that I just completed that I showed last month that I was doing the pattern for. But this is going to go to a newborn baby, and then this is going to go to one of my friend's daughters. So this is what I've completed. This one's out of mink, and this is out of a grandmother's favorite shirt. So, and the other thing I'd like for you to know is that up here with Bibi's Bears, but especially upstairs at Yarn Extraordinaire, that we do other things. We have rat classes that we make, and here's a little rat, isn't that darling? That's what Peggy did. And here's a little purple guy that Julie did. So we have lots of different types of things we do besides just teddy bears. Plus, if you would like, and you want to spin, or you want to weave, or you want to do anything like that, you can come up, and then we have a group of ladies back here who are weaving, and spinning, and having a really good time. Sorry, ladies. And one of the reasons that we have the ladies up here tonight, our bear artists, is that we want to tell you that come September 11, we're going to be in a show in Grapevine at the Grapevine Convention Center, and we're going to have artists from all over the country that's coming with their teddy bears to sell, and they're collecting bears. They're not for children, but they're collector's bears. But these are just some samples of the bears that will be there for sale, and we would love to see you there at the Grapevine Convention Center on September 11. Thanks so much.